Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're into the final stretch. 1 hour, and then it's time for relaxation and some fun when we have dinner this evening together. So it's great chatting with you during the breaks to get so many positive comments coming back about the quality and the content and the depth of the presentations that you're hearing and the value which that is bringing to you, whether you're relatively new to the industry or have been with your respective companies for quite a significant amount of time. And I'm sure that'll be the case in the final session this afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome onto the stage first a face that will be familiar to many of you from Aveva. It's Brian Hughes, and he's going to revisit the 3D project, and introduce some evolutions, exciting evolutions, which are helping to redefine the whole area of brownfield engineering. So for our first session after the break, would you please join me in giving a warm welcome to Brian Hughes. Brian, over to you. Thanks, Brian. We'd like now to close out and to build on a tremendous exposition by Brian there of some wonderfully exciting breakthrough technology on E3D, and to look at things from a client or a user's perspective. So I'm delighted to welcome from D3 ESCOM, Azrian Mohammed. And Azrian is going to take a look at, as I say, the practical application of E3D, specifically some of the challenges of early adoption. So for our final speaker for today, all the way from Malaysia, would you please extend a very warm welcome to Azrian Mohammed. Azrian, over to you.
Okay.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Azrian Mohammed. Fantastic. Wonderful, and without doubt, the most radiant smile of the day. Thank you very much indeed. That is the end of our session for today. I hope you found it stimulating, useful, enjoyable, varied. I thoroughly enjoyed that last session because I think we saw some genuinely groundbreaking, innovative, exciting, market-leading stuff. Those are the only sort of summary words I could come up with, Brian. Are they okay? Because I think it genuinely is fundamentally different. And then to get a user's perspective, a practical user's perspective on some of the challenges, how to overcome them, and the benefits that it can bring to the business is truly inspiring. Just a little bit of housekeeping. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we have 3 sessions, same EPC in here. I think we have owner-operators next door there and shipbuilding to my left. Varied agendas throughout the day, some levels of similarity, some clear points of difference. So please do take a look at the agendas and see what works for you best and mix and match according to what you are interested in. That's in the morning. Then we rejoin for the last session, the last 3 speakers of the day, and the closeout by Richard Longdon. For the dinner this evening, we're gathering in the Convention Centre lobby at 6:45 for the buses or the coaches to take us to dinner and the entertainment this evening. So do please come along, enjoy us, make more friends, and relax. Thank you for your attention today. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Danny. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Danny Foster. Congratulations, Danny. Welcome. I don't know about you, but I love listening to 2 types of presentation. One in which I learn, and one which inspires me. And I think we have just had a magnificent start to our 2-day conference experience. From Danny, I learned. I have never seen a topic such as architecture explained in such an accessible way to a marketing guy that I actually understood and was excited by. And the notion of reading a building is something I've never heard before. Absolutely outstanding. I was rapt. You could have carried on for another half an hour. I'm glad you didn't, because I've got to stay to time, but you could have done. Fantastic. The other thing is Formula One. It's like IndyCar, which you have in America, but better. It's that. Absolutely. And the other thing I learned was it's great to have Danny on television going to all of those places so high, so deep, so everywhere, because it means we don't have to. We can just watch it on television. Some of that stuff is truly breathtaking. But our first presentation this morning from Richard I found inspiring. To listen to a chief executive talking so modestly but so passionately about a company which is about to double in size is inspiring. But actually, that's not what inspired me. What inspired me as a marketing guy is that Richard spoke so passionately about customers and partners. Everything he spoke about was centered on building relationships with partners, on delivering a better service, on listening to and responding to the needs of customers. The epicenter of great business, and I'm afraid in my experience all too rare in the world of business today. So I offer my congratulations on the growth of the company, but it was so wonderful to hear that total focus on customers coming from everything we heard from Richard this morning. What a marvelous start to the day, and I'm sure it's going to get only better. I actually thought that XYZ430B was a pretty catchy name, which is probably why I'm not in marketing anymore. Okay, couple of bits of housekeeping before we break for coffee. We all need some coffee. We have a break of 45 minutes, and then we're all back into this room for one more session, everyone together before lunch. I would urge you, please, to visit the stands once you have your much-needed cup of coffee. That's the Aveva stands, the LFM exhibition area, but also, as we all know, fantastic events like this don't happen without the generous support of sponsors. So I would urge you to go and visit all of the sponsor stands. I've been doing so, and they have some great stories to tell. So that's Capgemini, EMC, George Fisher, Leica, Orinox, Regal, and Trimble. Please go and talk to them, spend time with them. They have great stuff to talk about and share with you. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, coffee. Enjoy your break. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Are you all relaxed? Did you all have a great cup of coffee and a chance to talk? There was a lot of conversation, a lot of buzz going on out there. I think there's a lot of energy in the room today. It's so nice when you let people out for the first coffee break that you all come back again afterwards. We're never too sure whether that's going to happen. We were just reflecting before we started a certain amount of sympathy for our friends in the translation booths at the back. Can you imagine trying to translate into Chinese or Korean or Russian Danny Forster's presentation? What a great value for money presenter Danny is. More words per minute than any other keynote speaker I have ever seen, and a great presenter as well. A little bit of housekeeping just to keep us all on track. You probably know, and I'll remind you, that after lunch, this is the last session before lunch, we break into two agendas. In here for EPC and shipbuilders with myself, and my co-moderator, Thomas Brandon. Thomas, would you like to just stand up, say hi to everybody? There you go. Will be next door this way, for the owner-operator stream. Obviously, this will be the much better session But if you want to go with Thomas next door, you can. But don't tell him I said that. And the agenda has been put together to allow you to move between the two agendas. So please do feel free to go between the two streams. That is the idea. At the last session, I'm told, there were one or two of our friends who were sitting at the back. There are actually, I can see them here, plenty of seats down the front as well. So please don't feel embarrassed about coming forward and taking a seat. They're absolutely free, no charge whatsoever, okay? And lunch will be in the Almira restaurant, which is going to be out of here and turn right and keep going, and we'll guide you there at the end of this next session. Okay, enough with the housekeeping. On with our next presentation. I'm delighted to be introducing Jeff Lill. Jeff is Chief Executive of Byzantec. Importantly, he is also a member of the advisory board of 8/8, which, as many of you I'm sure will know, was an acquisition made by Aveva around 12 months ago, which was a key strategic acquisition as part of their continuing expansion. Jeff, having spoken with him a couple of times now in preparation, clearly has years of practical experience in the contract management area. And he's going to give us some practical insights into something I feel particularly passionate about, which is the importance of building strong, robust relationships as part of the overall process of effective contract management. So would you please join me in giving a very warm welcome to our next speaker, Jeff Lill. Thank you very much indeed, Jeff. And the timing is frankly immaculate. It's scarily good. It's absolutely on the button. I loved listening to what you were talking about there. Effectively, what you were saying was it's all about the people. It's all about the relationships between people. It's all about trust. And that isn't perhaps the traditional view of the contractor-supplier relationship or the client-supplier relationship, which is rather the big boy and the little boy, the one with all the whip hand and the one with doing as they are told. It's very much more of a balance. It's reflected in a lot of work that's going on across other business sectors right now. No doubt many of your businesses have customer satisfaction scores around which you measure how effectively you look after your customers. What some of you may be aware of, some of you may not, is that many progressive companies are now moving on from customer satisfaction scores as a measure of the likelihood of customers to return and do business, to customer effort, measuring how easy it is to do business with that business, both in consumer sectors and in business to business. And as I was listening to you speaking, Jeff, I was thinking the same thing. I'm sure that many contractors will be judging and developing the way in which they work with their clients based on how easy it is to do business with them, and that as a basis for trust and working more efficiently and effectively towards a mutually beneficial outcome. So some really profound stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please thank Jeff Lill. Thank you, Jeff. Right, our last session before lunch. It is entitled Delivering Innovation. I've been looking forward to it. I think it's going to be extremely exciting. I am delighted to welcome to the stage Dave Wheeldon, who is the CTO of Aveva, who will then in turn be introducing a cast of thousands. But first, would you please join me in welcoming, please, Dave Wheeldon. Excellent, Julian. Thank you very much indeed. Well done. Okay, we're going to move things straight along now. And we're going to move into an enigmatically entitled presentation. I guess the presentations we've seen so far have brought us to this point. And now I'm delighted to introduce a presentation which is entitled Taking It Further. We'll find out what all that's about. So would you please join me in welcoming from Technique Geoproduction, Christian Flory and Ruan Suplan. Gentlemen, over to you. Okay. Very much indeed. Excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Once again, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
If you see Christian and Ruan in heated conversation later, it may be due to at least 3 age-related references that I heard in that presentation, so I'd be very careful if I were you, Ruan, as you go through the rest of the day. To pursue those great examples, or to continue the theme of great examples now of how Aveva products are being used in practical aspects of efficient project execution, I'm delighted to welcome to be the last speaker in this particular session from Petrofac, Reza Sabzevaria. I have been practicing that. Reza, over to you. Thank you very much indeed. Couple of little pieces of housekeeping, if I may. Actually, first, if I may, just one point to draw out that I really would like to. At every conference that I attend and speak at around the world, whether it be a conference of CEOs or CFOs, chief financial officers, or analysts and chief information officers, and indeed I've heard it in the last 3 presentations and referred to this morning. It is the global challenge in business of responding to, coping with, and managing, any idea? Change. It doesn't matter what sector, what business, what industry, what discipline. We're all confronted with volatile environments, and the prize of competitive differentiation, of commercial success, appears to go to the organization who is best able to anticipate, respond to, and not just cope with, but actively manage change. To take complexity and bring clarity. To move from cooperation to true collaboration, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And that would once again seem to echo the theme which emerged this morning, which is to manage that we need partners. And what was great in those last 2 sessions was to see customers who are so happy with the support that Aveva is providing, that they were happy to come today and talk about how that practical support and partnership is helping them to address the challenge of change. We're all dealing with it. I think the change that we need now is to go and have a cup of coffee, quite frankly. But, somebody breaking out with spontaneous applause at the back there. If you haven't yet signed up for the app, and there are some who haven't, which enables you to make contact with other delegates, please do so. If you'd rather not do that, please go to the reception desk, and if there's anyone you'd rather like to talk with, they will arrange that for you. And in case you're wondering, the 2 first sessions in both groups after the coffee break will deal with laser data capture in both streams around brownfield site opportunities. So don't worry, whichever stream you're into, you're going to hear that. So once again, to our speakers, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy your coffee break. welcome back. We have a full room again, everybody together in one place. We're on the final stretch. Just a few more presentations, then we can relax. Either head for the airport, maybe head for the bar, continue networking frantically. Would heartily recommend that. But thank you once again for coming back so promptly to be on time. We have some great presentations lined up this afternoon. In a moment, I'm going to be introducing from Aveva, Paul Cooper, and from EMC, Danny Paduti. Now, I'd like to say a few things about my own. I've been asked just to draw out some conclusions first, but just one point about Danny. He's smiling now, he knows what's coming. Danny's a great guy. I've chatted with him a couple of times during the conference. Great sense of humor, really pleasant guy. He's Australian. That isn't of itself normally a problem, unless you're English with a strong Scottish heritage. That's me. My parents were Scottish. We have just been knocked out of the World Cup. England first, Scotland second, thanks to a rather dodgy last-minute refereeing decision, by one country, Australia. I'm watching you, mate. You and I, later today, will see each other. I'm looking forward to it. I don't bear a grudge. That's not actually true. Right, a few thoughts, a few conclusions, summarizing what I've seen and what we have been talking about. And I've spoken to many of you, and it's been a great pleasure to do so over the last couple of days. First of all, my thanks to Aveva for inviting me to participate in this great event. It has been excellent, well run, thoroughly enjoyable, great people talking about potentially great things. A pleasure to be part of it. Also, to listen to some truly impressive speakers who managed to articulate their vision and even some of the granular detail in a way that a non-engineer can understand. Always a challenge and always a great achievement. So thank you for that. Really great to hear about, from the Aveva team, about some unique, it's not often we hear that, but truly unique market-leading products and product innovations. E3D, hyperbubble, because everybody loves the bubble. I've learned that from Gary. And, of course, Aveva Engage. I hope you all took a chance to play around with that magnificent screen out there and all of the technology that was available. I don't know if you actually looked at one of these things. They tend to go in our pockets and we don't do too much with it. I hadn't realized, but this is actually part of an augmented reality idea. And if you point your mobile phone at this, apparently magic things happen. So I would commend you to download the app and try the augmented reality. And I think there's going to be some opportunities just to ask about that immediately afterwards. But I wanted to point that out to you because you might not have realized it. I hadn't. 3 themes that I'd like to focus on. 2 I mentioned yesterday, but are worth reinforcing because they kept cropping up again. And one third one. First one, the overriding challenge of change has been a subtext of every single presentation that we've seen. And it crops up at every conference I go to. It's core to securing competitive advantage. And ultimately, we're all in business to drive competitive advantage, to differentiate, to stand out for the rest, to say, this is why you should buy us. And it was clear that fantastic, innovative, transformative technology, integrated solutions based on groundbreaking technology were critically important to driving clarity from complexity, to driving collaboration beyond simply cooperation, and to go from coping with change to exercising some level of control over change and not letting it control us. And if I've learned anything over the last 20 years, if you can do that, you potentially have competitive advantage in your pocket. Second theme builds on that. We heard a lot about it from Jeff Lill yesterday morning, but again, it's cropped up throughout. Partnership. Every business I talk to, indeed my own former company, Hilton, The theme of partnership, of not being able to achieve what we need to achieve alone. We need strategic partnerships are critical. We all talk about it, but what we heard during this conference is that true partnership needs to be balanced. Balanced in expectations, balanced in potential return on the investment, based on mutual respect, shared investment of time, energy, and resource, and therefore trust. Talking about partnership falls well short of doing what's necessary to build truly interdependent, long-term strategic partnerships that drive return on investment and competitive advantage for both parties. And I heard it in every presentation that I was listening to today and yesterday. We can't do this alone, we partner. And it seems to run through the veins of Aveva and the people who are in this room at the moment. Final thing is delivery. And this, for me, has been a breath of fresh air. Having operated at board level for some years now and attending many conferences like this, I hear lots of people talking about delivery, but I do find that we live in a world which is long on promise and short on delivery on many occasions, which tends to breed cynicism and undermines the trust I've just referred to. The takeout I've had from the last 2 days, and I say this as somebody independent who does not work for Aveva, is this is a company that delivers, nobody's perfect, but delivers on what it says it will do. Frequently we come to conferences and we hear about new product launches and what will happen in due course. What I heard time after time today and yesterday was, here is what we now have. We've been working on it with you as our partners for the last 12 to 18 months. We talked about it, and here it is. Solid delivery, which builds confidence and trust, and then a desire to continue that evolution I heard very strongly from Gary in his presentation this morning. Doing what you say you will do as a foundation block for that partnership and trust. I just found it truly inspiring and impressive. And it's been a privilege and a pleasure for me to be part of telling that story over the last 2 days. Enough from me. It is now my pleasure to kick off one of the last 3 presentations of today before I reintroduce Richard Longden, Chief Executive of Aveva, to close the conference. So I mentioned Danny Paduti, but first we're going to hear from EMC's Paul Cooper. Please join me in welcoming Paul Cooper. Okay. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. It was a great night. What a fantastic setting it was. Great food, great company, some great beer and wine. Oh dear. And at one stage I was sitting next to somebody I've got to know quite well who was he was staring at that beautiful tower. What an awe-inspiring sight, said, and this is a direct quote, "I think it's leaning slightly to the right." But it should be okay. It's leaning over there. If it falls down, we'll be fine. I'm thinking, and this guy's an engineer? Oh boy. What a fantastic night. What a great day yesterday. Intensive. The comments I've been hearing have been so gratifying. Great presentations, and it was clear that people had made a lot of effort in putting those presentations together. Great new product information from the Aveva team, friendly people, lots of networking, lots of new acquaintances that'll become friendships that are potential business partners. Let's keep that going today. We have some great presentations. It'll whisk by, and opportunities to see some new stuff as well. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, as well as doing this kind of stuff, I also play drums in a rock and roll band. Why is that funny for a 55-year-old guy? I don't see that. That's funny. Anyway. And it's a Beatles tribute band. And to get ourselves going before each of the gigs, and I do this with audiences all over the world on the second day, it's a tradition. We have our morning exercises to get ourselves going. So are you up for a little bit of morning exercises? Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. So everybody up, please. Just go with the flow. It's just a little bit of fun, but it really does help, okay? If you can just stand very comfortably. There's actually a reason for this. It releases tension out of the shoulders, out of the neck, gets some blood flowing, and it's a really good way to concentrate for the first session. So if you can just stand very comfortably, hands by you. We're going to close our eyes in a minute. We're going to take some very deep breaths whilst bringing our shoulders up, and then relax them and let the finger. We're going to do that 4 times and then a couple of other things. So everybody, if you would, just close your eyes, please. Nobody hurt themselves doing any of this. There's always somebody who won't close their eyes. There you go. There's always one who doesn't trust me. Okay, we're going to take 4 deep breaths. Bring your shoulders up. Hold them for a second and breathe out with lots of sound effects. So in. Really bring those shoulders up to your neck. In. And 3. In. And really hold it this time. In. Now gently, with your eyes closed, just roll your head very gently round 4 times one way. No crunching or anything. I don't want you to hurt yourself. And then very gently just change back the other way, and you'll find it releases tension out of the neck. And then 4 times side to side. And then very gently 4 times back to front. That's it. Very good. And then 2 more really deep breaths. Hold it for a second with your shoulders up, and then shake the hands off. So in together. And 1 more. You may sometimes get a little tingling down the back of the neck there. So if you just open your eyes, now that's great. We're all very relaxed now, but that's no good, is it? Because we've got our first session to do. So what I need you to do, but only when ready, is to go like this. Now, I've had audiences doing this 4 times because I wasn't happy with the quality of the... And you need to know that I will be standing up there and watching all of you. And if I see any one of you not doing it properly, I will get the whole audience to do it again, and I will point out the person who caused it. I don't need to do that. I just enjoy doing that part of it. So on 3, really loud, so that everybody in the next 2 rooms, because they heard us yesterday when we were shouting, it was great fun. So on 3, really gets the adrenaline pumping. So on 3, all right, you ready? You ready? Yeah, you ready? Okay. I've never seen less commitment in my life. That's marvelous. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. He's not going to move. I can tell. You want to do it again? On a solo performance? No, I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, thanks very much indeed. Sit yourselves down. Okay. No, that doesn't. You're the ones who did all the work. Right. A little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. You need to check out by 12 o'clock today. I don't know if you're aware of that. There is so really the morning break is the chance to do it. There is a luggage storage area which is upstairs, just above where the main conference reception area is. So if you could do that at the break, that would be fantastic, please. Just ask if you need any guidance at the reception. The Aveva team will take care of you. There is a contest. The contest is by way of a bribe to get you to fill out the feedback forms, because we really do need your feedback on the event. So later on this morning, people will pass amongst you with the feedback forms. If you do fill those out and get them back to the Aveva team, and more details will be given later, then there are 3 iPod minis to be won, and it'll be a draw from all those who have completed the form and passed it back. So it really is useful information, and Richard Longdon in his final session today will pass out those iPod minis, but you do need to be in the final session to actually get one of them. And it would be great if you were there, because if you've ever seen a raffle where you just keep drawing out tickets and the people aren't in the room, it can go on for days. So do please be there. Okay, I think that's everything I need to say at this stage, in which case, yes, let's get things rocking right now. I'm delighted to introduce from Aveva to talk about new possibilities for steel detailing and mining. Please give a great morning welcome to Steve Inslee. Steve.